Today, November 12th of 2018, we lost the man who was a revolutionary in the world of comic books. And from what you can tell from this drawing that I made, we did lost Stan Lee. And normally I usually put some eulogy letters on my Facebook account. Some actor that I love, and usually go with put on a kind of like a memorable clip that I can remember from that guy, and then say rest in peace. But I thought that for a man as big as Stan Lee, who he not only was just a famous person, but he's a man who he and his crew moved the world of comics and entertainment, and made a lifetime achievement out of it. I thought that he deserved something better than just words, at least with me. So probably in this video I'm gonna go along with this portrait. As you can see, I round up a little bit of the few things that I have for that to remember Stan Lee. I mean, look at it. I have this Deadpool plushie and my Marvel Cinematic Universe shirt. So this is only in my own way to give a farewell tribute to Stan Lee. I kind of go a little bit on my memory lane, an unscripted memory lane about how I remembered this man and the property of the Marvel Universe. I remember that while I wasn't too much of a comic book guy on during my early years, and despite my anime infatuation, I can't deny that the Marvel Cinematic Universe was always part of my life, hitting right around the corner. I mean, while I was more into Batman, I can't deny that I really watched a lot of the Spider-Man cartoons. I did watch, well, even as a guilty pleasure when I was a kid, the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Then I remember the 90s, which we really had those Marvel cartoons and Fox Kids. I remember watching X-Men, Spider-Man. I remember Iron Man, and the Hulk I haven't watched too much, but it's still a little bit of Stan Lee's property. And I do kind of remember being a child and being really eager to when the Marvel movies came out to the movies. I remember even being eager to watch the Hulk, the Ang Lee one. I never get that opportunity because, you know, money issues. I was younger and I couldn't even ride a bus to go to the movies. But probably it was better that way, considering what did I miss. But I do remember that ever since I started going into those kind of to go to the movies alone, I remember watching the I think it was Tim Rice. No, I forgot the names. The Fantastic Four films. Still a little bit of a guilty pleasure. I remember watching the first Spider-Man film and loving it. It was during that moment that I think it started the trend of having Stan Lee as making his cameos, which it took us for a while to notice that. Even me, it just took me a while to notice that, hey, this guy appears in every movie. And I'm glad that we have that. It's because this guy was a lot of fun. I mean, he not only made cameos on the cinematic movies that we know, but he also made a few cinematic in-universe in other properties of him in other cartoons. I kind of remember that, I think that it was the final episode of The Amazing Spider-Man, the Fox Kids one. I remember that in this final episode, I think I remember that it was Spider-Man catching Stan Lee and giving him a ride on his web slinger. Oh man, I'll never forget that. Oh man, how could I never forget also when I watched the Rise of the Silver Surfer when he was denied to enter the wedding of uh, 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 Richard Reed and Susan. Uh, that's that's some of the few moments that I remember this guy. And man, that it I don't know if it was his idea to start out making the cinematic universe of in the beloved Disney property films, and still also on the Fox films. There's one thing clear: nothing could have been done because of this man. I think it is a good time to tell you where this drawing comes from and why now, even a few days before, I have it kind of like one of my most treasured drawings that there is. I know that it looks simple, a little bit amateurish. Well, not too amateurish. I draw it kind of like in 2012 or something like that. But here's the thing. This is a drawing that I made while I was preparing to go to the it was the 2012 Comic-Con in New York. This is one of those drawings that I had to do it a little bit on a rush because I also wanted some other autographs. I have a book filled with autographs of other artists that I did on that day on Comic-Con. And when I heard the news that Stan Lee was gonna be there, sorry, I had to do it because knowing the age of Stan Lee, it was a chance that I shouldn't miss. Yeah, I know that it cost me like I think it was $90 to get his autograph here, but these $90 is nothing compared to at least a little small memory that I have of the legend himself. I do remember that on that day on Comic-Con, which I first of all I want to thank to the ex-secretary of Van Art who made it possible for me to get to that Comic-Con. I remember that I was on the line. It was a huge line, and unfortunately, you cannot waste time with Stan Lee because it wasn't on the autograph booth. It was on the other smaller booths, and because you don't, these are good reason enough to not delay the lines. You had to be quick about it. So the only thing I wanted is to have him autograph with it. I saw him. He didn't talk too much, and you know what? He didn't need to. I was just happy to see him. Kind of short, not as short as Robin Williams, as far as I can remember from watching the museum. But he was there. Although I was trying to be eager enough to see his expression on his drawing. Although when I finally got there, they put me aside for a while because yeah, he was a legend and they didn't want no risk. I do remember him giving kind of like an expression like something like that. It could be read in many ways, but probably I could say that he was a little bit impressed with the drawing that I made. And finally, he did the autographing, and that's it. Not much. It's the typical story that you get there, but I finally got it. I remember this drawing I kept it in my sketchbook for a long time. That is until when I visited a friend. When he saw it, he was so enthralled by the autograph that he said, "Dude, you need to put this on a frame. You have to do it. Trust me. It made an amateurish drawing, but that autograph, you're gonna remember it for the rest of your life. And when I finally got those frames, I took his suggestion, and this is technically the story of this drawing, and my kind of like my biggest memory of Stan Lee. What else can I say about this man? From what it's always been said and will always say. I'm glad that at least in our perspective we saw him as a hard worker, a man with a passion, and even going on despite his age, he kept continuing on and on, showing us that even age cannot take out the love to comics. And he kept working on it. He died at being 95 years old. This is the age that also my grandmother passed away. And it's incredible how, despite that age, he kept going on and on. And I am aware, I can notice that he could have his health problems during that age. And he understandably, you can see that he might be tired. But somehow, even on screen, he kind of never showed that face. He kept on battling that, even for a few seconds on screen when you see him on the cinematic universe. And I do remember that he really looked kind of tired when he was on the Comic-Con when I went through. But man, this is a fine example of a man with strong convictions. Although despite that, I'm gonna say that despite that we all now hail this man as some kind of a god of comic book, let's not forget that his works couldn't be done also with the help of some other great people like Jack Kirby, let's say. Yeah, because as you can see, not much. I don't think that this guy created almost everyone in the cinematic in the Marvel universe. He created kind of most of them, and other people had the ideas, but he just kind of fleshed it out. I may be wrong with that, so please comment if I'm wrong. But if I'm wrong, sorry, my diction. But now he's gone, and the feeling that everyone in the comic industry and even the movie industry, we have kind of like the mentality of kind of almost losing a grandfather. That's the best way description that we have right now. We lost the grandfather of comics, at least in America, and now we have to move on without him. Now the next Marvel Cinematic Universe will fill out with a hole without him. I mean, not exactly. I mean, in that awful Fantastic Four movie and Deadpool 2, he was absent. But again, now it will feel like something will miss him. The only way we can keep him alive is at least in animation and some guy who can imitate his voice. But still, it wouldn't be the same. The best way I can say is that we're just keeping the man alive in our memories. And not much I have to say. Again, this is only a video of me saying how much we're gonna miss, how we're gonna miss Stan Lee. So much that once I received the news of his passing, I just decided to take out this drawing and made a colorized version, which probably you have noticed on the thumbnail. But I'm gonna put it again right here in this video. So that's it. The Marvel community is now it's now sad, let's say. We're holding our candles. We are remembering this man. Stan Lee, we'll never forget you. Well, you are definitely one with the observers from the Marvel Universe. Well, watch us. We will keep the Marvel. We'll keep the Marvel stories, even in their goods and their bads, alive. Alive. We'll keep them on our memories. We'll keep on with that job. So nothing we can say. Well, adios, Stan Lee. Excelsior.